Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. All right, everyone. How are you? I and so is Mary Dusina here. We are here with you live, and we're super excited to actually close out 2024 with a little live full moon in Gemini broadcast. We thought we haven't done a live in a really long time, and we want to kind of maybe offer you a little Christmas blessing in the live chat for all of you who are here. We're going to save the announcement for a little later in the show. So stick around, stay in the live chat because you're going to want to know what might be coming your way. But we are closing out a year, aren't we, Mary?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's interesting. I was thinking today, Nicole, and blessed holy days to the tribe, to our beautiful tribe of light, the Enlighten Up. We're ready to alchemize ourselves tribe. I was thinking today, when you get to the 12th month, when you get to that, Sagittarius, Capricorn venue of our celestial weather, and it's that final month, people gear up for the new year, but it's the final month when there's rustling and bustling and can I afford it? And is it in my schedule? And oh my gosh, what did I forget? Especially this year with Mercury and Mars retrograde. But when we get to that 12th or final full moon of the year of this year, 2024, my guides were, I was meditating and playing some wonderful classical old-fashioned type of Christmas music, the instrumental part of it, the classical type. And as I was listening, it's like my guide said, please, as part of your report, please tell everyone to pause, to take that all-important deeper breath. We made it through to this point, so pause. Feel our strengths to overcome the circus ride, the roller coaster rides of drama or trauma, and learn more with our emotional intelligence and our soul transmutations and our overarching alchemy that combines our highest aspects of self with our humanoid challenges. And they said, please could you shift the focus from any type of OCD needing to direct and control, or fear, or a sense of loss, or, well, I don't have this or that, this holiday happening. Let us all join in unity to bloom gratitude, because many didn't make it to this full moon in December. Many didn't make it. And I know we haven't technically closed out the year yet, but I just look back at this full moon in Gemini, Mercury turning direct right as this full moon rises, the full moon happens, and then Mercury will turn direct in the opposite type of energy. Jupiter's in Gemini and Mercury's in Sagittarius. So it's about redirecting the conversation while our curiosity is peaked. It's like it's piquing our curiosity, and we're moving away from feeling challenged to allowing the bloom of creativity. I think that's the real thing. That's the signature of this full moon in December of 2024 versus 2023 or 2022 or 2025. So this moon, we're closing out an 8-year in numerology. So maybe I would also suggest that one of those journal prompts might be and what expanded this year, and what did I, with my own great spirit sovereignty, my own ability to bloom and allow my integrity and my authenticity, what did I shut the door on, and what am I opening the new door and walking into? What do I choose to allow to be my arrow, Sagittarius, the arrow that moves forward? I had said on the new moon broadcast, when we had the new moon in Sagittarius in the early part of December, I said this time, because Mercury had turned retrograde on November 25th, I said this time the archer's arrow, we've got that bow and arrow, and we released the arrow in Sagittarius in search of vision, in search of deeper, delicious, embroidered memories and truths. When Mercury's retrograde, it's supposed to be a pause and kind of a rewind, reset. I said this time at the new moon at the beginning of December, I said this time the arrow wants to go inward. It wants to go inside us. It wants to open up portals of our inner verse, the verses, our inner story, VERSE, instead of universe, it's the inner verse, that realm, those portals, those multifaceted gems and glowing treasures of all that you are, all that you have been, and anything that you want to be. Gemini offers us the multiple choice. It offers us that. What it challenges is where we're locked in the attention that we get from the drama of the trauma of our locked down, locked in stories of the painful things that brought us to here. And with Mars retrograde, the other part of this signature, Mars retrograde in Leo right now, is saying to us, maybe we're a little too addicted to that storyline. Maybe we're a little too attached to the emotional high tide that comes up with that. You know, when you tell somebody a difficult thing you've been through in your life, that it was, you know, painful, and you were rejected, and it died, and it broke, and it fractured you. When we keep bringing that forward, which is your choice, but when we choose to keep bringing that story forward that once got us sympathy and tithes and hugs and, oh, you poor dear, or things like, oh, I can't imagine. If we keep carrying that forward, again, it's a choice. Gemini is all about the choice. And Sagittarius is about the expandable vision and truth, the adventure of letting certain things go into your past, so it's not so repetitory that you can't have a new vision, a new adventure, a new exploration. So Mars retrograde right now is saying, what are you emotionally insisting on? I've been there. I can speak from this. We can unconsciously, Mercury retrograde's the underbelly. It's our subconscious, where our memories live, because they're also a part of what shaped us, formed us. So we kind of like them as reference points. They seem to feel a little secure because, why? They're familiar. They can feel secure. That doesn't mean just because they're familiar that they're all healthy. I'm going to say that again. Just because there's a certain security in our emotional stories and our emotional dramas, because they're familiar, and it can be a crazy, unstable world out there sometimes, that fear of change comes up. Maybe we don't realize consciously that we could move from just being addicted to those past his or her stories, and it's become reliable. So maybe we can shift the moving forward into the new year with those old reference point stories of that shaped me into who I am today, because we're always evolving. We're always growing forward and past and in between and beyond. So this full moon is inviting us to, with Mars retrograde, to allow the motivation of our anger, especially any buried or suppressed angers or resentments, to now be a gentler guide, and let anger, be at peace with your anger, be at peace with that part of you that goes, that wasn't fair and it should have been a win-win and I was good to them. Let that anger come up as a teacher that's not there to judge you, to harm you, to hurt you. Anger can be, it's that life coach that's saying, okay, if that triggers you, or that every time you remember that, you've moved from pain to anger, how might anger, just in this safe space, how might anger, and looking at how anger either cripples you, paralyzes you to not be motivated to take action again when something is not fair or not right, or how can anger be a teacher that says, You got this, baby. You got this, baby. And you don't have to bow up, and you don't have to raise your shackles and, lock your legs and go into a mixed martial arts ready to have a posture of defense. You are sovereign and you are beautiful. And anger or pain certainly doesn't have to be your priority life coach. How about letting anger in a constructive way, make peace with your anger, and ask your anger in prayer and ceremony and celebration before Mars goes back into Cancer, family of origin or childhood, mommy and daddy stuff, seeking security, seeking to nurture or to be nurtured. Before it backs into Cancer, I think the main energy of that, and that's all I'll say about it, is that if we revisit the story as we go into December, January, from the standpoint of my intention is emotional evolvement into the intelligence of my soul's intuitive compass. That's the way to win with Mars and Leo. Mars and Leo is, what about my heart chakra? What about what makes me get my back firm? Leo, it's the heart, it's the back, it's the lion, it's the brave heart, it's to be encouraged, to have courage. Once again, we don't ever need to let another human or an earth walk story, even if they're long gone, or even if it's long gone, to be the director of our future or the controller of our present. So December, whether it's Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Christmas, Yuletide, winter solstice, it's all about what gift are you? Because you are a gift, and what presence do you bring to the room of who you allow your priority energetic exchanges to happen with. So you are a flowing frequency. So with Mercury and Mars, with the M team, both retrograde, and Mercury will turn direct first, right after this full moon. Full moon 15th, boom, there goes Mercury direct. As Mercury first turns direct, the arrow can come out again. And so now we have new targets, and we can say, wow, Thanksgiving into this full moon, it did, I didn't get triggered, but it did in my dreams and in my quiet times, and when I was just scrolling on social media or driving in the car, I did find that a memory, an embroidered memory, the quilts of my past, I did start looking at what had been knitted in there, and maybe I'm ready to not have that blanket be my warmth, or not just cover up with that, even though a blanket can be a nice thing to snuggle into. Maybe I can allow my anger, I can have a new relationship with what pisses me off, or what locks me down, or what makes me go into a dissociative mode, like, la, 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 I don't want to hear it, I don't want to deal with it. So we can be avoidant, we can be confrontational. That's not the point. When Mars is retrograde, it has a lot to do with bringing clarity. It is expressive energy. It has that potential to say, it doesn't have to just be a blow up. It doesn't just have to be a blow up. Mars is saying to you, you have so many other soul strategies. And final point on that, Nicole, I kept getting visions that there was celestial activations going on. For those of you that understand that you think you might be a star seed, or you certainly recognize the hybridization, that you definitely have a ancient remembrance of the star seed or the indigo. Or I kept seeing the Pleiadians, our beautiful seven sisters, the constellation Sirius, the great dog star, and the Lyrianites, the lion, the star seeds that really relate to the whole lion energy, especially with Mars, initially going retrograde in Leo. So I just feel like we're connecting to home base. We're receiving data from mission control, so to speak. And I kept hearing the word, we are ambassadors. We are ambassadors. So I'm going to go on record saying that our biggest gifts of this holiday are spiritual downloads and upticks and leveling up that it's going to be shared with us. We're going to teach. Our presence activates another. It's almost like we have a positive auric radiation upon people right now. I just feel like all of that is connecting while we're having our Schumann resonance, and our solar storms are on the increase. There's an X2 flare that just happened the other day. There's these asteroids that are going. I've said all year in 2024, the sky is speaking. There's all kinds of symbols going on in the sky. The heavens are very much alive. So I I don't know. I don't know if I've ever remembered, maybe when I was a child, as strong of a feeling intuitively that this really is going to be a month of heaven to earth, as above, so here below. If these words resonate with you and you can use your God-gifted free will to plug into it. Like, nothing's going to be forced upon you. You don't have to be intimidated by it, or, oh, that's scary. I've had so much happen this year. I don't want my guides, or I just want to sleep. I don't want to have active dreams. That's okay. No judgment, no judgment. But if it resonates with you that in harmony and in soul bathing, that you can receive the golden elixirs, the beautiful white light, the violet flame of transmutation. It doesn't burn you, it blesses you. If that resonates with you, if you can kind of get a sense of what you feel when you see the color gold or white or a beautiful violet, then you're tuning in. You're really, and you're not wrong if you're not tuning in. It's just you probably already are tuned in and you already do accept it, or it's going on in an unconscious way. But the energy curtain out there is saying you finished off a lot of things that tie back, number one, to 2008, and they tie back also to 1975. So whether that was your parents or you or siblings, there's some timelines that popped up, and I'm like, okay, I'll have to think about that. You got to look at who was around me, what was going on. 2008, I'm an astrologer. I remember some of that stuff. So just kind of jot those down, and maybe it's someone that was born in 1975, or maybe it's something that shifted, in 2008 around you, if not to you. But they told me that those two collective cycles we're graduating from, and there is a leveling up. There is a leveling up.
I was still negotiating whether or not I wanted to come back to Earth. I wasn't even in my mom's womb yet. I was like, I don't know. Do I want to dip my toe back into this planet?
Right. That might be intriguing, Nicole, to look at if you can find out what was big about your mom. What was going on in her life in 1975 before you were, the seed in her womb. That might be intriguing. Like, what was the big priorities in her life at some point, Like I said, if it's our parents, if not us.
I know traveling was a big thing for both my parents. They did 5 years of extensive traveling before they decided to have kids. So, with the Sagittarius Gemini concoction we got going on in the sky, that kind of applies. I wanted to say a couple of things here. One, with the Mars retrograde, first in Leo, then in Cancer in January, I have definitely witnessed, and you guys in the chat, let me know, I have already witnessed several people who have been triggered into arguments or just trying to create kind of conflict unnecessarily because of pride and ego. And or the ego is not allowing for the settling of the dust, or to just let go. And letting go is a big part of this moon to some degree. But also, have Neptune just went direct a couple days ago, and did you not? Did that one? I don't know if it was because Mars stationed retrograde and then Neptune stationed direct, but a lot of people in my alchemy group said yesterday, on Monday, the 9th, all of us were just exhausted. My eyeballs hurt for no reason. And it was just so exhausting. And so when you were saying the blessing of this season is to pause, I'm like, yes, I am all for that.
Well, okay. Well, Neptune went direct, like around the 7th, let's say, depending on your time zone. I'll just pick an arbitrary date because I'm used to the date of the time zone I'm in. So Neptune went direct around 27 degrees of Pisces. And then on the 9th, on Monday night, we were getting into the late degrees of a Pisces moon. So it amplified it. And
that makes so much sense. You know why? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, because Neptune is squaring my natal moon right now. So if Pisces was the moon was with Neptune, both squaring my natal moon, that would exhaust me for sure.
Well, and think about the eyes, to the fact of, when it's, I can't just keep my eyes open. It's like, my eyes, are they burning? Are they itching? Are they, why does the skin on my eyes look a little more wrinkled than you? Am I dry? Do I need to put lotion and castor oil on my skin? What's going on? And so the eyes, which we always have heard are the windows of the soul, including that third eye, but the Neptune looks within. We talked about the arrow of Sagittarius right now going within with this full moon in Gemini opposing Sagittarius, and Mars being retrograde and Sagittarius being the centaur, the healer. All the centaurs were involved in wanting to heal. Chiron getting ready to turn direct, I think at 19 degrees of Aries. I may have the date. It may be the date, the 19th.
I think it's the 29th of December it stations direct.
And I think it might be close to.
It's going to oppose, I think, Black Moon Lilith on the 19th.
Yes. So what's happening? We've got the Chiron's energy is saying, I'm really not against you. I'm the centaur that wants to let you. We got to first look at the wound without being attached to it. Shift your gear into neutral. Remain neutral. Don't let it make you. Don't let the mood control you. Don't let your feelings control you. We can learn from our feelings because they're great teachers, but we don't want one feeling to override the others. If you have just anger, then how can self-forgiveness happen if you're just amplifying the anger so much? And if we have too much avoidance, then, your other teacher is coming in going, okay, it's the avoidance or the enabling and not confronting this is allowing yet person number 6 to do this same thing to you. So when we question, why is this always happening to me? Why other people don't have this happen? I think because, again, our habits and our ingrained patterns, even if we don't like them and how they're playing out, they're reliable because they've become consistent and familiar. So just being able to close our eyes, our physical eyes, and allow ourselves to look inwardly right now, to allow ourselves, we're looking back on the year. What do I remember about 2024? And who are the odd relatives that already triggered a few things at United States Thanksgivings or getting together with neighbors and friends? What was the weird thing about Thanksgiving festivities and foods, and like, those green bean casserole didn't taste the same at all. So what we're going into is we've got this holiday time when we've got extended families. Maybe there's relatives we don't see much, we don't choose to see much. They come from far and wide, either in social media or texting, or it's kind of odd for most people that are Gemini addicted to the social media thing. We get a little more like, oh, I'm going to actually be face to face with these people. Like, it's different to start all of a sudden realizing that we do read body language and that we do watch facial expressions. And there's a different kind of intimidation that I'm beginning to hear from clients that are in their late 20s and 30s of just like that they're really into the gaming, the I text, I don't call, the ones that are a little older than that, the 40, 50, they're still calling. Sometimes they actually want to hear the voice. They actually do want to meet up with friends, and they make that a priority. So I feel like, the pendulum always swings, and Gemini's got those dual sides, one mortal, one immortal. I feel like that if you've really been more leaned into online social media, the scrolling and the messaging and all that, maybe prioritizing as you close out this year that you're going to go to more in-person lectures, coffee shops, events. You're going to put yourself out there a little more. And those of you that aren't as much that you do still prioritize meeting up in person, we don't have to let go of what we're comfortable with, but kind of lean into what you aren't as familiar with. I think that's what Gemini Sag tells us. It's like you have a comfort zone and you feel more secure, more intelligent, more adept when you make connection with people this sort of kind of way. So maybe, because when we get to Christmas Eve, we're going to feel the energy of Jupiter and Gemini squaring off with Saturn and Pisces. And although it doesn't really bloom peak, it's strongest till the end of the month. The square is already in the air, so to speak. And the Jupiter in Gemini, the full moon in Gemini joined with Jupiter, there's an air, there's an atmosphere, there's an invisible energy network that we can read. So you're texting someone, they answer you. It's kind of invisible, except you're looking at it on a smartphone. You're looking at it on your laptop, your tablet. Someone's messaging you on Instagram or Facebook or Telegram. There's an electronic device that's kind of connected up to satellites or Wi-Fi, and so it's traveling through the air and the atmosphere and the different kind of 4G, 5G type of frequencies. Well, those, just because we can't see them, beloved tribe, doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of electromagnetic vibrations going on. And we also had a lot of these solar storms that were taking place. Not all of them, it goes through that cycle, the earth facing or not earth facing. When they become earth facing, even though there's an M or an X class flare, we're electromagnetic as well. And the more you develop your intuition, the more you accelerate connecting with spirituality and multidimensionality and being more into the ultra terrestrial realms and halls of learning, you really get it that as much as we tend to prioritize what we can see and touch here in the third dimension, there's so much more going on in dark matter. So what's happening is we've also got the sun is supposed to be starting its strong solar maximum cycle, which happens every 11 years. It's solar maximum and then solar minimum. Well, it really wasn't supposed to kick off as strong until 2025. And yet in May of this year, we had like this anomalous thing, whatever you believe about it, of the Northern Lights happening really strong early in a whole bunch of different places. Yes, and it was in Taurus. It was in the Taurus sign. And then there was this energy of people that never had, it was on their bucket list. They got to see it. And if you walked out under it, which I did, because I love the Aurora Borealis. When I walked out, the Inuit First Nations tribe up in Alaska call it Mother Earth's literal breath, that she breathes in color when the Northern Lights happen. The people in the Icelandic tribes and Norway and the Inuit Indians believe that it's very much, you actually are seeing your Earth Mother sigh and breathe life into you. It's like again, the air, the atmosphere, the electrical magnetic frequencies, those are really strong right now with this Gemini moon, the only Gemini moon of 2024 being in alignment with Jupiter in Gemini and, Mars in Leo retrograde, but we've got Mercury in the opposite sign. The two are kind of hanging out in each other's houses. Mercury rules Gemini, it's hanging out in Gemini's partner sign of Sagittarius. And so there's this energy dance that's happening. And if you look at Sagittarius, it's like Robin Hood or a pirate or, someone, that's the white knight type of a thing. It's like, I'll take care of you. It's the king of fire, so it's the knight or the king of wands when you start to get into the fire signs. But when you get into the air signs, we go to the swords, the spades. And so we have the king of swords. We have the knight of swords. These are ready to take on the conquest, the mission. They're willing to defend. They're willing to go into unknown territories to get the message from the king or the queen to the other party. And there can be dangers and delays along the way. When you get into the other side of it, when you get into the wands, it's about passion and aspiration. And because I'm inspired, I'm going to participate. My passions have been ignited. I'm ignited with this. My heart's on fire. My heart and my mind are one. So we have this energy right now of how Mercury wants us to speak and communicate, saying, to thine own self be true. Then we've got the full moon in Gemini, which is saying, word salad, things are all over the place, can't quite make a decision. Let me try to plan this. And the frustration I'm hearing from clients as well as friends is like, oh my God, I'm trying to make these travel plans. And like, I can't do that, or that got postponed, or whoops, the weather. So after this full moon, you're going to find that the usual holiday bizarreness of high travel and people and airports and bougie attitudes, and those are a little extra, that's going to settle down. So I think that as far as holiday travel, the fact that at least Mercury will be turning around direct, and it is weak in the sign of Sagittarius, is going to help finally the dots line up and the plane not get us delayed for that long. And we might even find that the actual Christmas holiday weather might not be so intense, might not be so challenging.
Well, it's interesting because this particular full moon in Gemini, I was just talking about it on the weekend with everyone in my alchemy group, because we kind of go over the astrology a 1 month ahead of time, like in the upcoming weeks. And,
Yep.
when I looked at this moon and I looked at everything that's going on, obviously you have Jupiter pretty close to the moon. So it's a wide conjunction, but, Jupiter's definitely influencing this moon in Gemini. And then you have Neptune in Pisces squaring the moon. And
Yep.
it felt very much like, to me, where I will say to everyone, this is the time to tune into your intuition and pay attention to your dreams for more clarity if you need it, because it will be there as well. But it felt like there is something that we all need to make, perhaps a decision on, a choice, that it's time to get a little more serious, right? Saturn squaring Jupiter, a little more serious about how we're going to make something happen that we've been wanting to make happen for quite some time. However, we've maybe bought into a little delusion or illusion. Maybe we need a little bit of a reality check about how we haven't exactly maybe been seeing how like something needs to be let go, right? Something needs to be gone, let go. And it's time to be able to move forward in some way. In order to do that, we have to let something go. And perhaps you've been holding on to something, delaying letting go of something that you maybe have downplayed the need for that or the necessity of that. But I feel like at this full moon, it's going to become clear. Look, you got to let that thing go. It's time to get serious about this thing, because there are opportunities ahead of you. And there is something about really conquering with a winning kind of strategy that's possible here if you're willing to do all that and face some kind of truth or reality check, lifting the veil where it has been that hasn't necessarily been serving you well. And also knowing that, again, during this full moon, that for those of you who are very tuned in to your intuition and your dreams and you're paying attention, they can be very helpful for you at this time, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And let's not, those of you that have a beginning, intermediate, or even advanced perspective of astrology, I'll say this. The final month of 2024 opened up with a table that was set full of retrogrades. Mercury retrograde, it's not turning retrograde until the full moon happens. Boom. Mercury turns retrograde December 15th. Neptune was retrograde from July 2nd of 2024. It just went direct on December 7th. The other 3 retrogrades, Uranus retrograde in Taurus since early September, forget the date, it's not turning direct till January 30th. Jupiter retrograde, kind of like the end of the first week of October, I think I remember. It's not turning direct in Gemini till February 4th. So again, these Gemini energies, these Pisces energies, these Sag energies, and then Mars retrograde from December 6th, starting out retrograde in Leo. It's not going to go direct. So like the very end of February, like the 23rd, 24th of February in 2025. So I kind of want to say retrogrades aren't always hitting the brakes and coming to a screeching stop. It's like kind of when you're coasting because you can see the light just change, and if you just slow down a little bit and take your foot off the gas pedal, maybe you'll just get the green, and the people that had the right way to turn, on the turn signal, then it turns green. It's because it's kind of like, I don't use this term a lot because it's overused in my opinion, like the word psychic used to be. It's kind of like a time to hold space, hold space with yourself, hold still. Bless the stillness. There's a reason, silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. I believe the illuminations are already our dreams, our symbols in our dreams, the creatures that come up as creature, teacher, animal, totem messengers in our dreams. Retrogrades, to me, after doing this 35 years thus far, and I don't know how many lifetimes behind or ahead, retrogrades to me are always an invitation to pause, to glance back, and to tend to, here's the important part as you're a star gardener, and to tend to what's been left undone. So I believe that part of our illumination with the arrow turned inward and our focus trusting that there are some great stories within us that want to emerge, because even the search for God, even the search to know the Creator, Great Spirit, Holy Mother, Holy Father, the search for the divine is an internal journey. It begins and ends with ourselves and the choices and the beliefs that we will have. So as 2025 in the United States, a lot of places, our new year, people look at the different time zones when it's officially the new year, but your next version of self, the next version of empowerment and evolvement that you're involved with isn't a destination. It's a constant, viable, active journey of brave decisions. So you're going to, I think in our intentions, even if you don't believe it yet, if we can, in our prayers and our affirmations, intentions, before we start slowing down our breathing to doze off for the dream lodge every night, if we would just whisper, thank you, angels, thank you, holy guides, thank you, all that is of sacred frequency and healing harmony. Thank you for allowing me to see in the most peaceful of ways the truths, the answers, and my ability to be unlocked from what once held me down or held me back. Because sometimes Gemini stirs up new questions before it gives us answers, where Sagittarius is the answers, and that which forms our, okay, I believe in that resonates with me. Yep, that's a fit. That's Sagittarian energy. Pisces is the compassion and mercy, like Libra, to understand both sides of the coin. Well, I don't know. I don't want to reject anybody, and I sure don't want to be rejected. And then Gemini is like, but you have to look at the different cultures. You have to look at the different generations. You have to look at how the rulers of the world and Big Brother and Deep State and your parents and all the, the contrast of what everybody was preaching at you, that you better believe. We're Catholic, you better be Catholic. We're Jewish, you can only be Jewish. Whatever. How society was trying to force place beliefs. And then that internal discovery of like, but in my heart, and oh my God, I felt my heartbeat. I felt my soul rise. I felt such warmth. I felt such liberation when I did that, when I studied that, when I explored that, when I did go on a journey physically to go to a seminar or a workshop or a weekend, and I actually invested the time and the money in myself to go and allow that person that I already felt good with, to let him or her, I trust them, my soul feels okay around them, although I'm not giving them my power, but to actually go and have an experiential journey of an internal divine dance. I mean, I think that's really going to be the signature of 2025.
Oh yes. Well, and also speaking to the retrogrades, that are currently going on, you were saying like it's time, it gives us time to redo things and to do them better. It's, to me, the retrogrades are important to our evolution. And so what's really cool about this particular full moon in Gemini is that Mercury, the dispositor of Gemini, the full moon, is in a beautiful grand trine with Mars and the North Node in Aries. And so, we have the two planets, Mars and Mercury, which are the fastest moving planets, not including the luminaries, like the moon. But, you have Mars, but from the energies is what I mean. The energies of Mars and Mercury, they like to move fast, right? They like to go. They like to, let's get things done. And they're both in retrograde. And so there's something really cool about the evolution that we're kind of moving through that is Mercurial and Martian. So really wanting to initiate, wanting to communicate, travel, more information, downloads, that is all connected to this North Node, which really wants us to go outside our comfort zone for that evolution of who we are. It wants to align us with where we're meant to be. And so there's something about this full moon that even though you've got Mars and Mercury both retrograde, it is part of the evolution that is necessary for you to really kick things off for next year. Because I will say this, and I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to be doing it in my 2025 predictions video, but I got the message while we were on the alchemy call on Sunday. It downloaded immediately into me as I was sharing some thoughts that 2025 is going to be the year where we all say, we made it. Like, we made it. And 2025 feels really good once we get to the midway point and onward. I think the first half is going to be a little bit of a dust up, but that it doesn't mean it's still not going to be good to some degree. It's just going to be a little bit of a dust up. Get ready to dance. That's for sure. But I think overall, though, once we hit middle of 2025 and the North Node is in Pisces and Jupiter moves into Cancer, we're going to have some really good energy. But overall, I just feel, even when not even looking at the planetary alignments, I intuitively feel very, very strongly it's going to be the year where so many things that have been talked about are finally, we're like, okay, we made it, it's been a long road, but we're here. That's how it feels to me.
Well, and you've got that nodal shift, the North Node moving into Pisces around the 11th to the 13th of 2025. And when you look at Pisces and the nodal shifts and the eclipses, those are our exclamation points. Those are our cosmic exclamation points. It's like Spirit's going, I said this area of your chart is about to be stimulated and activated. And if you want to know your themes for the beginning of 2025, as Nicole said, into the summer, go locate. Don't focus on your planets too much. Go find your Pisces house in your chart. The Pisces house, North Node, the Dragon's Head, is about where you are seeking and where you are headed. It's the movement ahead. There's surprises in store. There's clarity. There's after delays and the pause that we talked about, the poignant pause. There's an acceptance of how you're assimilating the new truths, the new facts. And there's a little bit of period there where we have to process things, but it's inspiring for a bigger, better viewpoint, picture, journey. And so that energy of these nodes, when you find your house of Pisces, exactly opposite of that is the house of Virgo. So the South Node will shift to Earth sign Virgo, mutable, changeable, instigating, and curious. And then the North Node in Pisces has to do with the natural 12th house. So that is taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and being very much involved in our own healing, very much being able to sit in front of that mirror going, okay, Mary, okay, how are you being instrumental in not being quite ready to let this go? Or, you're too locked into it's got to be just this way, or it's always been this way. So the more that we take an allowing perception of like, I'm ready. People say, oh, I'm ready to level up. Oh, I'm ready to have mystical experiences. Oh, I'm ready for my guides. It'll scare the shit out of you if you're not ready. I mean, there's things about the paranormal and the mystical that it's good to have some Virgo attitudes about, wait a minute, where's that coming from? What's the resource? Like, you don't have to overanalyze it and overthink it. And a whole lot of it needs to be experiential. So the Pisces part of it is like when Cinderella gets the glass shoe and it fits, Pisces at the feet. Pisces has to do with holistic and naturopathic and herbal modalities of healing. And at the soul level, realizing that what stresses us depresses us. And Virgo becomes the technical aspects. Are you going to go to physical therapy? There's, did you do muscle testing? There's a reason that the stress factor on you, and it will show up in your astrological chart health-wise. Seems like when you get stressed, you feel it in your neck. You feel it in your shoulders. It seems like your stomach gets off. You get constipation. You get loose bowels. Your feet start to tingle. There's areas of our body that, for lack of a better word, are a little more vulnerable or a little more targets of how we store these stresses and poisonous thoughts and inhibitions. So I feel like as the nodes are shifting, they've been the last 18 to 19 months in the Aries North Node, Libra South Node dynamic. So the Libra South Node is saying, what part of me seems to be always present when I'm meeting up with that business person that I hope I can collaborate? How do I see myself in that potential intimate partner? What is it about them that attracts me? Is that a resonating theme? is that something I might be unconsciously looking for? For example, I love someone with a great sense of humor. I do not like people that pull pranks. Too much Scorpio for that. So I like a good sense of humor, but I don't sneak up on me and pull any kind of crap, because there's hell to pay on that kind of stuff. You know, it's like, yeah, there will be repercussions. Just don't. It's a scorpion. It has a stinger. You know, there's going to be a shift in, and I think it's good, because we've had 18 to 19 months of the Aries in your face, and the Libra. I don't know if I'm pissed off. Libra literally rules the bladders and the kidneys. That just pisses me off so much. Well, tell them about it. No, I just can't. You know, so you know, if you're a Libra, you tend to act like an Aries. If you're an Aries, you tend to seek what the Libra represents. We tend to unconsciously look for the qualities of our polarity or our opposite sign. So I believe as these nodes are shifting, the simplest thing you can do is go start to study the next 18, 19 months. That's our earthly classroom. Start to study the empathic, sympathetic, allopathic versus naturopathic, and they don't have to be in opposition. The medical will be exposed, the natural will come to the forefront. So it's like the pendulum is swinging more for the next 19 months toward better food, better quality, less plastic, less chemicals, less food dye, all that kind of stuff, less sprays on our crops. We're going to start to see the Piscean element wanting to come back and heal our Mother Earth. And so Taurus is Mother Earth, and Virgo is the bounty of the harvest. So we've got the Taurus Virgo factor starting to be very, very much harmonized. And it's been a while since we've had that. So we're going to start to see, oh, thank God, we don't have to keep worrying about what next is toxic in our food and our air, what we eat, how we sleep, what the materials are made of. So we're going to start to see a big relief in that. And I believe the collective consciousness is going to be leaning into holistic and healthier and nutritious. I believe that's not going to be a fad. I believe that's going to become foundational. Yeah, foundational.
Well, before we get into the all signs, I just want to say to everyone, when it comes to this particular full moon, I want you guys to think about, your own personal evolution. What is it that you've been wanting to expand or grow at, right? Like that Jupiter energy. You know, it's time to make a decision. What kind of decisions would really help you evolve, help you grow, learn, become more than, what you've envisioned for yourself when you think about that vision with Neptune, because it is the visionary. And what is your visionary quest of life really trying to pull out of you right now? And perhaps you need to look at, one, what is it that it's time for me to really make decisions on? One, what do I need to let go of? And two, where do I really need to invest my energy? Because again, it's that Gemini is this or that, it's the two opposites, it's the twins, it's the contrast. And so it can be very polarizing, and there may really be something that it's time to really say no to this, and it's time to maybe really say yes to that. I think that's something that could be coming up for you. So really think about that. And also, Mary has been so gracious. For those of you who are going to be sticking around in the live chat, don't do anything yet. Don't put anything in the live chat just yet. But Mary, do you want to let everyone know what you'd like to maybe do for a couple of the listeners in the live chat after we get through all signs?
I would love to start a little Christmas present, a little Hanukkah and Kwanzaa present of, if you just let Nicole know in your live chat. I'm audio right now, but we're live with you. But if you will say to Nicole, oh yes, I would love that little message gift. I wanted to pick an oracle card and interpret that oracle card for you. And of course, Nicole, it goes without saying that if you have insights on the card and that you want to share too, I know you do that on your YouTube channel. But I'd like to offer that as my little tithe, my holiday present, that Nicole and I are live and fully present with you. We're present here today, and that I'd like to be able, those that Spirit had guided to be here at this particular time on our joint time zones. If you're in chat, if you're listening to it, and you want to come on into chat as Nicole directs, she's the boss right now. Let the Taurus be the boss. That, when you want to say, yes, I would love a card, that's your sweet spirit and your human mind and personality saying, yeah, I'd like a message. Yeah, I'm open to listen. Doesn't mean you have to agree or disagree, but you're just open to allow your guides and my guides to blend, which is how I read for people, and allow them to be in concert And whatever comes in the moment, we're live, folks. Whatever comes in the moment, I'll give you right then. And of course, my hope, my intention is that it unlocks and inspires and empowers. But, when you get into tarot and oracle, sometimes when they say, I said, it's a no, then that doesn't mean it's a bad reading. It means that there's something that you already, KNOW, probably needs to be an NO, like Nicole was talking about. Certain doors, what we need to let go, certain doors just need to close. They don't all have to slam. And maybe you'll open them up and walk in with a whole different type of attitude and energies, and you moved on to a different level of knowing of someone. But sometimes a certain door of something be the same kind of way, the same old way, and you've moved away from it. Sometimes it's okay to close that door. And even if you close the door, maybe that person, how you knew them, can walk forward with you into the new door with you. But you got to close out the old business, not just because it's the end of the year. Yeah, just because that's what the celestial signature is.
Okay. So everyone, once we get through Pisces, I'll give you guys the go ahead to drop in the chat if you'd like a card. And then what I'll do is we'll do three readings, Mary. How about the Holy Trinity? We'll just, we'll do three card pulls for random people in the chat. So don't do it now because I'm going to lose you as we go through the chat. But Mary, why don't we go into all signs and then we'll do a little card reading for the audience.
Okay, so just like Nicole said, I'm going to start with Aries, the first sign of the Western Zodiac. And when you hear me get through, the 12th one is Pisces for those of you that are beginners. So when Nicole said wait until after Pisces, that will be the final horoscope theme energies that I see for December. So we're going to start with Aries and then we'll end with Pisces. Just for those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. Or that you really don't have the whole astrological memorization thing going on, you are certainly not less than. That's Nicole and my job. Like, you don't have to know it all. We're supposed to show up and gift you that. So for Aries, I wanted to combine a couple of things, even though I'm going to keep it short and to the point for each one of the signs. Aries, the Gemini, the inner light, the full moon, is triggering what we call the third house, or the signature of what the third house triggers or brings up or presents you with both a blessing and perhaps a challenge. So the third house, if Aries is the first sign, the third house in the natural zodiac is Gemini. So suffice to say, this particular Gemini, because Gemini rules communications, the air we wear and the way we speak and the way we learn and the way we think, Aries is the I am. Aries is the first fire sign. Aries is cardinal, and it's like, I'm fascinated, I'm interested. I might get impatient. I might not want to stay with this over 15 minutes right now, but I got it. I get things really quick, keep it to the point. And so you've got this Gemini full moon, Aries, your mind is buzzing. It's buzzing with ideas. It's got a creative vision. You're trying not to get too lost in the details of like, well, I might need that piece of equipment, or I might need to upgrade my office there, or maybe I need to get some new techno stuff. So this final moon, full moon of Gemini, is encouraging you to be bold enough to put forth your important message. It's the way you say and how you want to convey this message out there in your outer circumstances, out with the world, saying it out in the world, using the words, making the text, sending the email, reaching out with some type of dialogue tool. It's how you're actually requesting, questioning, investigating. It's how you're wanting to put the message out there, how you're seeking in an intellectual, communicative type of way. So it is the perfect time for your reading, your writing, your style of speaking, maybe doing a little wordsmithing and kind of looking into the etymology of words, or wanting to be moving into different ways and different words instead of what's just being presented out there in the media, like stepping apart from what just the common way of expressing something is. Like you may now be bored with the word suspect or suspicious being sus. It might just be you're going to be the one that invents the new pop word type of a thing. So any contracts, any agreements actually could be finalized after this full moon, as this full moon happens. I'm not worried about Mars in retrograde in Leo for you at all. I feel like it just kind of tones down your impatience. You might even feel like you're wanting to, again, take a trip. a trip that may be still inside the same country. It is crossing some state lines or maybe just a couple of towns. But it's like your Aries is really getting, Aries is the first sign. They're usually the first to jump into things. Aries is truly understanding the importance of being there in person, face to face, boots on the ground. So Leo, for Aries, Leo, the Mars Leo thing, because it doesn't back into Cancer until January of next year. So we're just going to talk about Mars and Leo. So the Mars Leo, Leo is a fire sign. And so Mars in your fifth house is creating some very interesting possibilities for fancy attractions. You know, it's like, oh, look at those fancy pants. Oh, I like those eyelashes. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. I'm just drawn to you, the moth to the flame type of the thing. And I watch the Luna moths as they come out of these Smoky Mountains every year and know just because the moth is drawn to the flame of the bulb, it does not get burned. Actually, they sleep there all night long because they know how to position themselves, but they don't get burned or singed. They just go to the light. So I think with the Mars feature right now, Aries is like the spring moth. They come out in very late winter in my area, very early spring, like it's sometimes the end of February, March. But when those big green Luna moths come out and they're just that they need that resting place of that light, that porch light in the winter, that's the imagery that I'm seeing for Aries with the third house. It's your ability, your communicative acumen is off the chart. So it's like be bold in expressing interest, be bold in wanting to draw out the other person's ideas, not to judge them, not to analyze them, but just to say, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I never looked at it that way. That's an interest. That's intriguing. So Aries, you're going to be fascinating, but because you're fascinating and you're the fresh fruit punch, you know, out there that everybody wants to have a taste of. Oh, sangria, there's real fruit in there. So the Aries part of you'll fascinate, but they'll be able to inspire you. So there's a real nice win-win because both Gemini and Mars and Leo are very compatible to the element of your sign. But I still, for all the signs, say when you take that pause, and to Nicole's point, what is the new story? Not your history, but what is the new story? What is the new vision? Even if you could come up with just three before the New Year's, if you could come up with just three main bullet points of what you would like to move on with or into, or for the first time, you know, that kind of a thing. You know, not everybody wants to buy a new house. Not everybody wants that. So it might, you know, some people want to stay on the farm or the family farm. So look at what it is. If relocation is one of your top three priorities, I certainly see that before summer of 2025 for you, Aries. I feel like it's stirring in your mind. Am I thriving here? Is this where I need to be? So Taurus, the first earth sign, fixed earth sign. So you and the tarot cards, you know, when you're an earth sign, you're into the suit of pentacles. Like Aries is fire. When we get into the wands, earth is the pentacles, the diamonds, the earth element. So Gemini is the sign right after you, Taurus. And so Gemini is illuminating and titillating and stimulating the money matters that are on your mind. Like, what is it I see as an investment of my energy, my life force frequencies? Do I want to spend more time with that? Do I want to deposit more of my life currency into this? Do I want to spend money on this? Do I want to spend money to make money? Do I want to sell, downsize, liquidate in order to free up new ways of being able to invest in my forward motion, my forward march? So for you, Taurus, it's a second house thing, and it's not just about the type of currency financially. It's not just about whether it's, you know, bitcoins or all these cryptocurrencies or your actual gold or silver or paper dollars wherever you live. The second house is about we collect things because we decide they hold value. We spend time in school or on a job because we feel like that's going to be a valuable, productive investment of our time and our energies. Like, I'm going to get a degree in this, or I'm going to move from this country to that country because I feel like the tax structure is better. I'm not going to have the same kind of rules, and I don't really match that country right now. I'm going to go into some place that's more progressive or restrictive, whatever you're into. But Taurus, with the second house, right now, Taurus with Mars in Leo, even though it's retrograde, it's hitting your fourth house. So you're really looking at decluttering, improving, organizing, changing something in that home scene. There are very, the close friends, the people we know that we see like brothers and sisters. So not just our social friendships, those that we allow in that inner circle, that's being stimulated for Taurus. And it could be animals as well as humanoids. It could be that you get very, very familiar with your guardian angel, or the shift in angelic guidance comes home to you in your dreams. And literally when you're home, meditating, taking a cat nap, having a relaxing bath, Taurus right now wants to be, they know that the vortex, the spaceship of power, is their home, their own abode, their own secret garden. So the more you are decorating or appreciating or having a few chosen people at your house, Taurus, that's what's blooming out this last month of 2024, and the bloom continues. It seeds, if you will, your 2025, because Mars is there in your fourth house. So and it may be that you go to one of the favorite little novelty boutiques or discount stores, and you walk in, it's like, oh my God, I have to have that quilt. I have to have those towels. I have to have that pillow or that love seat, or I need to get that repairman over here. I need to upgrade this thing because I've put it off as long as I can. And it just wasn't the mood of the moment. It just wasn't the right time. And I would say, Taurus, that if your intuition is saying to you, you know what, I need to fix that, get that garbage disposal fixed, or I need to figure out what I want to do with landscaping before it's a problem, or, oh, I don't think my dishwasher should have backed up, or I don't think that toilet should be running that slow, or I'm tired of this paint color. Oh my God, it's been 8 years. I got to paint this room. I would, before there's a problem, I would, in my ceremonies, prayers and stuff, think about, is this the city, the state, the country? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels, for giving me a current update on how viable and productive and peace-filled, or not, my environment is. And I've had several Taurus clients that went through some really tough times in midsummer of 2023 into 2024, and things were beginning to fracture or fall apart in 2021 and 2022. But the Taurus was like, I'm on the fence. I'm not quite, I got to have the right energy to be able to make this drastic of a change. And so now Taurus can look back and say, you know what? When I look back to 2019 and look back to 2020 and what I thought was the scary clown then and what I thought was the big enchilada then, and I can look back, and you should, Taurus, and pat both your shoulders, tap yourself on the back, pat yourself on the back on both sides. You've really come a long way. Some of it was like a push, but you've really come a long way, and I really am seeing some nice things for the Taurus people as they close out, especially this next, the next full moon. As you close out 2024 and you go into 2025, you're going to be able to bask, B-A-S-K, you're going to be able to bask in the fruits of your labor. So the money that you spent to move, the money that you spent on your business, the money that you spent to incorporate talent or managers or advocates that could help you be the talent or do what you needed to do, hiring the housekeeper, having the cars waxed and cleaned, having your house painted by somebody else besides you doing the grunt labor. However you invested and strategized all of that is going to be big blessings over the next 2 years. I really like what I'm seeing for how Taurus kind of broke their normal routine and said, time to upgrade, time for me to give that to so-and-so and let go of that. Because if I don't let go of something, it's too crowded, it's too much pressure, it's too much for me to manage the way it is. So for Taurus, I feel like things are calming down. And Taurus in the sign of Cancer, they'll do a lot of things externally, but they know that they recharge their physical and soul battery by getting into their cocoon, their cave, their nest type of a thing. And they will become very particular who gets invited over or how long they get to stay in a Taurus or a Cancer, a strong Cancerian's house, apartment, trailer, whatever it is, because it's just like, oh, this is my cocoon, this is my space, and this is how I recharge. So I do see good news coming in, like an appraisal, a new job, an unexpected payoff or payment isn't as bad as you thought. But I feel like even if you seem like you've had to put some significant expense into it, it's okay. It's divine timing for you to have focused and to be focusing on your financial goals and how to grow your wealth story in the coming new year. So if you're Gemini, oh boy, you're lit up on the outside and the inside, Gemini, because this is your moon. This is your full moon. So just like the full moons out in our beautiful horizons and skies light up the nighttime and the nocturnal landscape, this is lighting up you. And so the ruler of Gemini being in Sagittarius, it's wanting to put a softer light and a light of understanding and a whimsical, humorous. Like, to me, laughter has no age. It's really good for you right now, Gemini, to be whimsical and flirty and appreciative of whoever your significant other is. If that's a life mate, or that's someone that you're dating, or like you've got a best friend that you're not really involved in a significant, intimate partnership, but you really appreciate that best friend, that cousin, that whatever it is, coworker, whatever it is. It's a sister wife, kind of thing at work. I had a friend say to me, Libra say to me, "Oh, that's my sister wife at work," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's like people have new terms for all this, but whoever it is that you can let your hair down with, Gemini, and you can just like lay your head on their shoulder, or they can give you a hug and all is right with the world again, type of a thing. This December does highlight and put a higher light and a turning point in your personal life. So I just sense psychically something very meaningful is coming to a conclusion. Nicole's word, it's bringing clarification, clarity. It's helping you move forward. Sometimes when that other person says, "I got to go, it's over, I got to take the job in the other country, I'll always love you, you'll always be my best friend," whatever. Sometimes it's not a breaking down of our congruency, but it's just like they got to go and they move, and we're not going to see them as much as we got to see them. They can email us and get in touch with us all they want, but we know if they move to Australia and we live in the States, a little bit of distance there. Not distance in our love for each other, but there's a physical distance, and that does create a different story in your everyday world. So a heartfelt dream, a long-held goal is coming very close within reach. You'll need to be proactive, Gemini, and show the world your unique value and why you feel like you bring something special to the table, because the full moon is lighting you up. And 6 months from now, when we have the full moon in Sagittarius, when we get that late May, June period of 2025, this is where the fruits of your support system, the people that do have your back, the people that do care about you, it's those little things that people do that maybe they're not the big damn deal in your life, but they've always got your back. If you're having a stressful day, they're a significant other, because they're the ones that'll go, "I got you, I'll do it." Sometimes that's my hairdresser. Sometimes it's the person that does the frosting on my hair and gives me my haircut that I want. It's just like, damn, today was a good day. My hair was so long. So it's like, that doesn't matter to everybody. Some people don't care, but it's a good day for me. If my hair gets done in the perfect way, it's like, yes. So, and for Gemini, your Mars is this Mars and Leo's tripping around in that third house. And I feel like, again, Mars is in the Gemini house. So I feel like, Gemini, you've got this dynamic energy that's saying you don't have to tell the same story to every audience that you go to. Go now, Gemini, since the sun is in Sagittarius, and get their story. Listen to them. Do deeper listening if you're a Gemini, because how someone relays that story to you and how they took that adventure and how they climbed that mountain and moved the obstacles out of the way in their life can be very helpful, both for you personally, Gemini, and those that matter most to you. So if you're a Cancer, okay, Cancer, your ruling energy is the luminary of the moon. Just like the sun rules Leo, the moon rules the sign of Cancer, the crab. So this full moon is the embryonic moon. It's in Gemini. So Gemini is the sign before Cancer, the crab. So this is, of all the 12 signs, Cancer, and Cancers are powerful and intuitive with their dreams anyway, your meditations, your ways that you relax and get a little buzz on, the visions, the prayers, the insights that come towards you. I mean, Cancer rules that whole digestive, the whole furnace of the body, the Tara of the body, that whole middle part of the body there, the navel, the stomach, the assimilation, eating and the assimilation of nutrients and foods. And so, and the chest, the actual nurturing organs of a mother to a baby, the breast, the chest. So Cancers right now are receiving light codes. They're receiving very, very spiritual, empowered gifts. I feel like they're going to have intuitive, their intuitive antennas are just like pow. So much so that if you've got a lot of the Cancerian sign in your own horoscope, it's stuff that may be personal and private for you right now. And then after the sun goes into Capricorn in the third week of December, that December 21st, Yuletide, winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, when the sun goes into Capricorn, then you start to really see how you processed it and how it's supposed to be transformative in your external world. But right now, Cancer, it's the winds of change, and it's an inside job. It's an inside job. It's you, your guides, your angels, your dreams, speaking your truth, anything that has to do with therapy or resolving, and the treasures of all that has happened in your life for you to be who you are right now. And I see a lot of Cancers reflecting on what the plus or the minus scenarios are with their actual mother, whether it's the biological mother or it was a stepmother or an adopted mother. I feel like the whole matriarchal thing and the story of that's led to whatever point you're at now, whatever age you're at right now. I feel like that's also some keys that are arriving. Like I see these celestial keys arriving, and it's going to open up some inner doors that are just like, damn, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. And Mars is helping you financially. So if you're a Cancer, I wouldn't dwell too much on how much did I make this week? And I put all that investment into that. And how am I going to make more money? And how come I'm not making more money? Are my prices too high? Maybe I need to focus on it. Is my intention too focused on the earthly dollars right now or the earthly currencies right now? Maybe I just need to let it go and stop trying to be so controlling about it, or that it's only good or bad. Let me just let me take the pause and just allow spirit to be driving the chariot of change right now. Cancer is what you need to do. Cancers can overanalyze things like Virgo can when it comes to household finances and what they've put out versus what's coming in. So take a break. Take a break, rest, recharge your emotional, mental, and physical energy. If you need support or some quiet time or healing, it's a good time to seek it. So I would relax and allow some self-care. You've earned it. Maybe it's a pedicure, maybe it's a manicure, maybe it's some red light therapy facials or something, but just take care of you. If you're Leo, wow. The full moon, Leo, a fire sign, the full moon is lighting up your 11th house, dreams that you want to weave into reality. It shines a light on your social life. It shows you who your tribe is. I do feel encouraged that Leos are having not only their tried and true connections in life, those that they know love them, those that they love, they'll always be like a friend, family, tribe kind of a thing. I do feel like there's also some new people coming in. I see it psychically that there's new, like the things that they love about those they can rely on is coming again in a new batch kind of a thing. It's like a new batch of cookies are coming out of the oven. And Mars is in your sign, Leo. It's been 2 years since it's been there, at least. And so Mars is in the area of the heart. The Mars, it's the heart of the sunrise. It's like what's rising in my life. So for Leos, look at the main sun positions during the day. Is it high noon? What's my sunrise? What's dawning in my life? What do I see on the horizon? What could be a sunset and something that I won't be as much mentally or physically involved with very soon? So sometimes the sunset on the medicine wheel, the sunrise is the east and the sunset is the west. So in the east, it's like Aries, the I am. The west is more like in the medicine wheel. It has to do with those that we choose to hold hands with as the sun is setting and the stars are coming up. So it has to do with who would you sit on the hill? Who would you take the hike with? Who would you sit on the hill or on horseback with and toast a glass of wine with as the sun is setting? Who are those people in the rocks and the mountains on the beach? That's the west. It has to do with our SOs, our significant others. So right now, Mars is in the sign of Leo, and it seems like Leos having to micromanage everything, as well as their frustration because they're tired. They're not getting enough rest. They're so busy having to take care of everybody and everything else in their vortex right now. Mars is amplifying the fact that just do it. Don't keep thinking about it. And they make a call. They want it to be done for the day, and then they get delayed because of the Mercury retrograde factor and the Mars retrograde factor. So I do feel, Leo, that It always works for Leos to have something that makes them snicker or laugh. Otherwise, they get into wanting to push the limits, and they start getting fascinated by how they can push or poke or aggravate somebody else. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that, Leo. Instead, just allow yourself to say, hey, so-and-so, you want to meet me down at the restaurant and let's get an appetizer and I just need to have a beer. Let yourself have, or invite them over if you can't leave the house right now. Invite them over to have a moonrise, full moon little snack, appetizer, wine or beer, champagne with you, because you need it. You need it, Leo. You need to be able to just realize that the celebration is around you. It's just there's a few more steps to get there. If you're Virgo, it's 10th house, and Mars and Leo's in your 12th house. So I believe a lot of Virgos have big career news coming, and I believe that this full moon is going to be bringing about who's in your corner, who understands your wheelhouse, how to complete a contract, how to get something sold, the recognition for your hard work, promotions, successes. This is a chance to reevaluate, look back on 2024 and say, oh, thank God I finally turned around and dealt with that irritant, and I'm just not into that anymore. So your new goals seem to be clarifying themselves as you're looking at the horizon of New Year 2025. It's the year of the snake. It's a 9-year in numerology. And so as Nicole was talking about, we got here. We made it. So it's like as 2024 expanded what we needed to look at or what we've been hiding, 2025 is saying, and this is how you walk away from it, how you choose yourself to accept the new paradigm, the new vision quest, as you accept not to be the same way all the time that you were, because this is a whole new book in your life, not just a chapter closing. So that's especially strong for you, Virgo, and with Mars in your 12th house. If there's something hurting, if you're, of course, the strong solar storms and these X2 flares and M-class flares, they do affect our sleep. Either people want to sleep all the time, they feel a little dizzy. Nicole mentioned like the eyes, paying attention to your eyes and like feeling a little off center. And then some people get this tremendous surge of energy, just like those of us that are born with retrograde Mercuries or retrograde planets. When that planet goes retrograde throughout our life, if you're born with your Mercury in retrograde, and Mercury retrogrades, the 3 to 4 that happen annually each year, that's a boost for you. Everybody else is going, but people that are born in their natal charts with Mercury retrograde actually get a lot accomplished when they're going through those retrograde cycles. So that's a fun thing to learn about your chart as well. But Virgo, you're also enhanced and co-ruled by Mercury. And the fact that this Gemini stuff is at the top of your chart, or as I like to say on the medicine wheel, the north, or the top of the cross. If you look at the cross, how spirit penetrates matter. Spirit is the vertical line coming in. Matter is the east-west line. And so the north on the medicine wheel has to do with Great Spirit, our ancestors, the white buffalo. It has to do with how all that is above us, the stars, the heavens, the winds of change, the what's glistening upon us that looks like it's dark right now, that's for Virgo right now. The north direction is saying, and you're achieving, you have arrived. So I think that continues into 2025. And if you're Libra, it's a 9th house. It's an air sign. Libra's an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign. It's a 9th house full moon. So you're in your head in a different kind of way. You feel like you've got to look 6 months ahead, a year ahead. What am I going to sell? What got damaged by a storm? What's no longer really something that I'm that attracted to in the family? My daughter, my son got married. They now are busy with their kids, my spouse divorced me or they passed away, and now I'm going to look and get remarried, or I'm going to cohabitate with somebody, or whatever. Libras are looking at, it's time for me, and how loyal, Libra is saying right now, in a sense, how loyal have I been to my dreams and my desires and my goals and my aspirations? And I feel with Libra, it's spiritual and personal. Like for Libras for the next year, they really need to be in sync with someone that is enhanced spiritually, the same way that they feel like they're getting fed soul-wise. So if that means they really want to find somebody at Baptist church because they're enjoying the Baptist church thing, or if they want to do Native American, or they really want to get into or Vedic studies, or whatever it is, whatever, or earth magic, whatever it is, attend, if they're really fascinated by UFOs and UAPs and they want to start going to MUFON gatherings and meetings and the paranormal stuff, then go and start finding the friends and connections that would be there, because it's what they call like-minded, or there's a congruency or a similar curiosity to learn, why am I drawn to this? Why am I fascinated by this? So I think anything to do with journeys or travel or spirit, psychological stimulus, therapeutic stimulus is going to be all around Libra. And I want to say, I think there's some great teachers, some great soul coaches and psychics and astrologers and Reiki and numbers and herbs. I think, Libra, it's time for you to allow someone with a certain kind of specialty that seems to be a stimulant for you. I think it's time to take that 6 month or that year study course with them, or dive in. Just dive in. If you're a Libra that's writing a book or wanting to do an audio book, yeah, there could be editors and publishers, and this could be the time where you seem to be accepted or favored for that, because Mars is in your 11th house, and that's just letting people want to look at you and what you've got to offer. If you're Scorpio, this full moon, Gemini is your 8th house. Scorpio rules the 8th house in the natural zodiac. It's psychic, it's sensual, and I'm going to say something. Being sensual or acting in a sensual way is completely different than someone that's just sexual. Sensual can be more individualistic. I mean, anybody can mate, anybody can bring somebody to the edge of pleasure and bliss, but sensual is, why do you remember that person for the way they touched your neck? If everybody you've ever made love to touched your neck, what is it about that person? What is it about that person that really brought up a different kind of life of pleasure for you? And I'm not just talking technique or expertise. Yeah, not at all. That can happen sexually. Sensuality to me is the higher octave, I guess I'll say, of just choosing to be sexual. So there is a lot of sensual opportunities orbiting around you, Scorpios. Mars is up there in Leo in your 10th house. So there's a light shining on you. So if you're Scorpio, yeah, do your hair. Yeah, get your roots done, get the haircut. Think about your style, and what if you saw you from across the room in that outfit and those shoes and that look and those colors, would you be intrigued by you? It's about intrigue right now, Scorpio. It's about you understanding what a magnet that you are. And if you don't keep that conscious awareness that right now, although you didn't ask for it, you're a magnet. So you're drawing to you based on what you're saying you're attracted to or repulsed by or wanting to lean more into, because Mars is only accelerating that. But there's deep emotions that are coming to the surface with this full moon and Mercury turning round direct. It's helping you explore both feelings, emotional and physical needs. And certainly, Scorpio, if you're still single, even though the desert's been dry, you're going to meet somebody intriguing and special. And if you're in a relationship, you're going to be assessing whether your needs are being met, their needs are being met. And a part of that, Scorpio, is going to be your opposite sign of Taurus. Financially, it's a luckier time for Scorpio for opportunities, investments, unexpected windfalls. But do you feel like you're carrying too much of the weight with your significant partner, or do you feel like that they're almost shaming or wanting to kind of raise their eyebrow or guilt you that right now they're the breadwinner? So Scorpio, you may just need to say to them, look, when I'm in a relationship, I'm not greedy. I'm all about the win-win. But if you're doing better than me and you have more than me and you're going to try to make me feel ashamed or guilty about that, bye-bye. Because, if I'm going to, bust a hump and struggle on my own, I can do that on my own. I don't shame and blame me because I'm too busy wanting to do what I need to do to get it done. So Scorpios, they don't do well with partners that try to be overly controlling or guilting or shaming when it comes to the finances. And the Taurus people out there, they're the opposite. They want to have the trustworthy sensuality and the trustworthy partner to be able just to have the fun times with. Taurus will prioritize their intimate life, their sexual life, their sensuality, and being able to enjoy and dine on the pleasures of this life, especially in the physical body and emotionally. Scorpio wants the financial slate taken care of. Scorpio's like, yeah, I relax and I don't have to worry about that. I'll be fine. Let me get the car payment. Let me get the mortgage paid, and I can take you to the moon and back. But I got to get this off my mind. So you got to look at your polarities. So if you're Sagittarius, like Gemini, you're really strong right now. Sagittarius, the full moon is in your house of partners. any kind of partner, any kind of alliance, any kind of mutual receptivity where their opinion, their input matters. Mars is in your 9th house, so Sag, you could be traveling. Your forecast is real short and sweet. You're ready to be on the move with someone and something. It could be music. It could be a concert. It could be theater. It could be that you want to be more the entertainer, go and be entertained. But this is a very active external stimulus for Sagittarius. So if you're involved, married to, living with, invested in a Sagittarian partner, it's time to understand that Sagittarius needs to hear you tell them how you want to be treated, what you'd like to have as a creative date or date night, or what you'd like them to help you with. If you're involved with the Sagittarius, you're their partner, you need to communicate with them. And if you're a Sagittarius, shut up, don't analyze, and listen to the people that matter the most to you, because they kind of feel like they're being pushed in the background or not really being heard. If you're Capricorn, almost at Pisces, 2 more. If you're Capricorn, it's a 6th house full moon. Cut to the chase. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you feeling like you want to kind of, even though it's a social time in America and a lot of countries, even though it's an expected social time, do more with your church, do more with your synagogue, do over this, get in touch with people like that. It's tradition. You know, Capricorn's like, yeah, no. I think I want to have a quiet holiday. I think I want to just have me and thee. I feel like that I just don't want to be around a bunch of crowds right now. I don't want their germs. I don't want to watch them be rude in public. I'll cook. You know, I'll do something at home, or maybe I'll stay in and avoid all the hustle bustle and the intense shopping and order online. I just feel like that it's time for me to take care of, and it is. And it is. So I would, you know, Capricorn's thinking more like, I'm going to get a pedicure. I'm going to get my hair conditioned. I'm going to get a facial. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to buy some vitamins online, that kind of a thing. Mars is in your 8th house. Again, very private, very sacred. Thinking about people that have passed on, animals that you missed that have passed into the heavenly pastures. So Capricorn's very intense right now. And so they just need some energetic hugs. They don't need you to ask them any questions. They just need you to they don't feel alone with you in the room because they like it that you're there, but you're not asking them to be on demand or be on call. They just need to let their hair down. If you're Aquarius, it's a spicy, celebratory type of full moon, even with retrogrades. It's in your 5th house. This is a full moon that has Pluto in your sign at 0 degrees. Venus is still in the sign of Aquarius. And so you're in a type of signature spotlight as well. There's eyes watching you that you may not be aware, that are checking you out and seeing if you're the optimal one to put in charge or to take to another state or office or expand your responsibilities and get a raise, promotion type of thing. So, and for Aquarius, I would say stepkids and children or grandchildren seem to be kind of capturing your intuitive antenna right now. Mars is in Leo. It's in your 7th house. And so it's like, you're another one of those signs that's like, I need to be really honest with where I'm at in this job, with my boss, who I'm involved with, what I'm coming home to. You may need to lighten up your schedule in a sense and add more private time for those grandkids, stepkids, things you want to do for the community, or you may need to turn to your kids, grandkids, aunts, uncles, family, and all that and say, you know what? I need to do this. The next 2 years, I'm announcing to everybody in my family and my tribe, I'm going after some of my dreams. I'm not old to do a bucket list, but these are things that I want to do. This is what I schooled in. This is what I've invested in. And I'm not here for everybody else to call on all the time. I'm going to go do me. If you think that's selfish, that's okay. I'm making a declaration as this year is ending that these are things that matter to me right now. Love you all, but it's my turn. I can keep seeing that for Aquarius. It's my turn, even with Mars. And finally, Pisces, we're here. This full moon is hitting the home life. I've said on my new moon podcast in early December, Pisces are healing. Pisces have been given the gift as the Aries, Libra nodes and eclipses were happening of what it was that they were in their own way, or maybe that was getting a little too addictive, or perhaps they were avoiding. Pisces can be confusion and chaos and avoidance and they don't realize that they want something so much that they project pushing someone away. They fear rejection, and so they act out with an uber neediness or a sense of drama, or they get too loud, or they get too bombastic. And when they're talking about their life, tragedies, and people are just like, oh my God, are they always like that? And Pisces are soft, and Pisces are wanting, if a Pisces gets involved with somebody, they want to figure them out, and they want to be able to bring some type of a soul and solace and emotional comfort to them, because the Pisces knows the sting of what it feels like to be rejected. Virgos fear rejection. Pisces have walked the line of rejection and had to bounce back. And I've got a lot of Pisces people I know that have been concerned or dealing with delays and frustrations over the last 2.5 years, especially about health issues. What's causing it? Why is it? How am I being a part of either facilitating my own healing, or what's underneath the surface? I don't feel like the doctors or the herbalists have figured it out. And I've been saying to Pisces for the last 2.5 years, look at your fears. Look at your investment in what stresses you. Look at how you're allowing that to be the director of your day. Like almost expecting it. Here it is again. So with Pisces, I feel like that you finally had some procedures and had some resolutions for your own psychological and physical challenges. You're on the bounce back. And so I like what's happening with you at home base, and with Mars in your 6th house, that also is going to propel you forward. It's really going to propel you forward. So I feel like this actual full moon could bring a family or a domestic matter to the head to achieve a completion, like you're hosting a gathering or planning a renovation, and a family issue arises, and you kind of step in, and it'll end up being rewarding. But I would say, Pisces, as a final statement, you take a pause, take your time with the big decisions, especially about big changes to do in your home, who lives with you, who's wanting to move out, how that dynamic is going to change. It's not necessarily changing where you're renting or buying. It's just there's something more of the emotional atmosphere, the air that you wear in your home life, and what's going on with whether people feel cut off or distanced by you because you're preoccupied on things that you need to resolve. So maybe a little more conversation. Like Nicole said, Gemini is so good. It's so good for addressing the elephant in the room. Now, our curiosity has been stimulated. We're tired of the stagnation. We're tired of the same old rift or bridge between us and someone that, it's their fault, it's my fault. I'm tired of them saying it's my fault. I'm tired of it always being their fault. I'm just tired of that same drama, push-pull that they have. So it's like the first Harry Potter movie, where the owls fly in to when they're in the sorting room. They're going to decide where the students are going to go, whether it's Slytherin or, and the wizard is there, Dumbledore, and owls come flying in the room. It's new students getting ready to go to the Hogwarts Academy, and the letters open up and they're talking. It's like there's the mystical there. They're floating up in the air. They're levitating up in the air, these letters that have arrived. Owls fly them in. One of the birds of intuition in animal totems. The owls fly them in. The letters stop in front of the student it's attended to, or that it was addressed to, and the voice of whoever wrote it is actually moving the envelope and dancing in the air. You can go on YouTube and you can type in Harry Potter, owls bring the letters, and you can see the visual that I'm talking about. That's what I'm seeing for Pisces. And that's what I'm saying because Saturn and Neptune are also in Pisces, that spirit wants to maybe use as a symbol for us, the birds, the creatures that live in the air, the letters, letters in the air are kind of like the internet and texting and messaging and all that. What's the message floating in and coming in on the frequencies, the media frequencies? How are the words being delivered? And have you thought lately about how you're delivering your words? And that's it. That's the signs.
Ooh, well, thank you. Thank you for that rundown. I know some of you have begun to drop in the live chat if you'd like a card reading. And so we are going to jump into the card readings right now. Mary, have you got your deck near you?
I do.
Okay.
Right here.
Do a reading for Terry Gelbaum, please.
Okay, and did you say you wanted 3 cards instead of the past, present 2 cards? Did you say you wanted to do between 3? Do I remember that right?
We're going to pick for 3 different people. So you do it however way you want.
Okay. Okay, so what I have, this is an oracle deck, different than a tarot deck. And so what I have is the image of a beautiful illuminated archway, like just like you see the light breaking through the clouds sometimes, and they call them like, oh, look at those sun rays piercing through the clouds, you know, the radiations of the light. And there's a broom. Interesting, we were talking about Harry Potter. And there's a broom, and it's standing upright on its own, but it's not having to lean up against the wall, and it's not attached. It's just upright. There is a spiritual guide's face in the actual bottom part of the broom. It's like the guide is like, I'm here to help you clear it away. Maybe you're going to be swept away with a passion or a feeling or a vision. So, but the actual card says on it, which is interesting, chop wood. So, you know, that old saying, we always say, chop wood, carry water. So I feel like and the number on it is 42, which is a 6. So 4 is like the 4 directions. 4 is like the month of April. The 2 is February. The 2 is like in the tarot, it's the high priestess. The 4 is the emperor. So what I see here is that I love the arched, it's like an arched wooden door, like kind of like a medieval Renaissance kind of door in that real thick wood. And then the door has been opened, and the broom is like the guest. I mean, it's not in a closet. I'm literally, it opens to the heavens. The door is opened in, and the broom has got a beautiful banner on it. And right next to the broom is like this little, like kind of like we would put ashes in from a fireplace. And what it's saying to you is chop wood. So we look at wood as the earth element. We look at chopping or sweeping or clearing as I'm allowing that not to impede my progress. Like if I need wood for a fire, I'll go chop wood. So there's something about actions that you're taking that are very much the pieces, all these moving pieces, all the moving parts. The actions that you're taking right now are actually going to be a very vital part of reaching the conclusion and being away from any kind of, I wonder how that could be. I wonder what I should do. Any kind of like chaos or stagnation, or which way do I move? Which way do I go? You know, and like in the old movies, you know, slowly I turned, step by step. So you're in some kind of a progressive stepping forward. You're willing to do what you need to do, and you're part of it. And when you add the 4 and the 2 together, it's a 6. And a 6 in numerology is the number of security. When you start with Aries being the sign number 1, and you get to the 6th sign, so it goes Aries 1, Taurus 2, Gemini 3, Cancer 4, Leo 5, Virgo 6. So Virgo people, the Virgo timeline perhaps of this year as well as 2025, I see as the time of accomplishment. For those of you that don't know, Virgo begins like the 3rd week of August and ends when we get to autumn equinox, the start of Libra. So like that 3rd week of September. So this has a lot to do with kind of like harvest, like it has to do with, okay, so I'm sweeping away all the stuff that I did in spring and summer. And now I'm going to be able to really look at how the light enters the room. And maybe you're the light that enters the room. Maybe when you enter the room with the people that you've been communicating with and visiting and putting yourself around, maybe in their life, you're the light and that you light up their life. So the caveat to that might be, are you blazing your light and your energies and your generosity and your kindness and doing so much for others? Not necessarily all the way over to the people-pleasing too much scale, but close. Are you showing up and being there and supportive and encouraging to the people that matter in your life so much that maybe you're getting a little left out or feeling exhausted? And I'm not saying that you're helping in order to put a string around them and that it has to be reciprocal. I'm not saying that. I don't feel that with you. But I feel like that it can only be you to say, listen, can't do that today, can't do that this week. I've got other things on my plate to prioritize, but I got to do some things for me. And we don't have to make excuses to people anymore. It's like, you know what? This week's for me. I've got stuff I have got to do and deal with. But it's like, I just keep feeling progressive progress, solutions, but the dynamics of the steps that's involved. Like I can't bake a cake unless I put some things together. There's a recipe. So like you're involved in the recipe cycle and components are coming together and the feast is about to be. And maybe April's a part of it. Maybe between the second month, February of 2025, into April of 2025, maybe the 4 and the 2 have a lot to do with that connection. You can always, of course, let Nicole know as we get to February of 2025 and then April of 2025 what changed from the full moon in mid-December of 2024 as how you're looking at and seeing and realizing at those points.
I also get for you, Terry, that you are literally going to have a guide come out of the closet for you over the next 3 months. So pay attention, let your intuition, and maybe you might even get some insights around this full moon, around that. Like you might even get some whispers. So pay attention to that. Okay, thank you, Mary. So let's go on to the next one. Let's do Kim Kela.
Okay. Immediately I saw the number 7, and I think about 7th chakra. I think about 7 main planets, 7 named days of the week, how that ties into the different Greek gods, Monday, Moon Day, Tuesday, Thursday is Jupiter, Zeus. So there's something about the number 7. And in the tarot, it's the moving energy of the chariot. There's a lot of energy about the Merkaba, the spirit body of light. And what's interesting about this oracle card, most of you are familiar, you've heard the term of a deep bathtub or a claw-toed bathtub, like the antique bathtubs that they kind of bring back in some modern houses too, where the tub actually just sits there by itself. It's not incorporated with the shower. It's a bathtub. And so this female with light purple wings, almost like little smaller butterfly wings, with an arrow compass pointing ahead to the west, by the way. She's in like a bathtub, aqua and teal and aquamarine colors on this card. It's like the mist and the fog around the seashore. And it literally says on the oracle card, to the sea. So that's T-O to the S-E-A. So it might be also to see, S-E-E. There's a lot of things that you are going to see that you may have been inquisitive or looking for different answers on or different options with, but I'm not going to rule out that it's not got a lot to do with salt water and the oceans and maybe a bathtub and being able to me, the bathtub is always like a water therapy, aqua therapy is always embryonic to me. It's like we were in our mother's bellies and we were surrounded by the effluvia of all the fluids and moving liquids throughout the primal mother's body. Whoever she was, we were like the seed that was the fruit that was growing. We were coming forth into being as we were developing. And so it has a lot to do with just being able to trust that you're on a journey. And she's got the back of the bath boat has big set of binoculars. It's coming up on like a pole. The pole comes up and there's a set of binoculars, which is interesting because they're pointed behind her, like they're looking at what's behind her. She's in a contemplative mode. She's just enjoying. The waters are very calm, very nice. It's always a good sign in psychic readings and in tarot readings. And the waters are calm. The waters at peace. And it's just like there's no sail. I don't see a motor. I see a couple of bubbles. And it may be just that this is a vision rather than an actuality, but in some dimension it's real. And then the front of the boat, the top part of the bathtub boat, has that compass, and it's pointed to the west. And her guide's face, the eyes and the profile of the nose, and it looks like a male guide, and it's smiling, is in the top part of the sky, like if you were going up to the afternoon sun when it just starts to drop and just starts to get a little bit darker of a shade of color, whatever gold or yellow it is, and you can tell it's starting to move toward the sunset phase. There's this male guide, and it's a male guide that would be like a rabbi or a priest or that sincere counselor or that person that just lets you be. But this is like kind of the male, the yang vibration that isn't there to judge you. It's just there to let you know that you're appreciated and you're cool just the way you are. But the 7 is very strong. So maybe how much purple you've been wearing, or the tones of violet or lavender, maybe that energy to breathe it in meditation could be very helpful.
Sorry. I'm having
That's
little
okay.
issues
That's
with
okay.
my mic here. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I just want to say, Kim, let us know how that resonated with you. And Mary, just so you know, Terry said she's recovering from people pleasing, sweeping out the cobwebs. So thank you very much.
Nice. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spirit.
So one more, and I'm getting very, very strong messages to give this reading to you. So Johanna, this is for you. We'll do a reading for Johanna Bowers.
So we're doing that now?
Yep.
Okay, this is interesting. The visuals on these are just, so I'm in a desert. And so it's like, let's just say I'm in the Sahara, or I'm in Egypt, or I'm there, but I don't see water. There's beautiful, pale, pinky peach, kind of salmony colored clouds. They're puffy. They're beautiful. The sky is like it's gray blue. It's a really pretty color. It's not like the bright Disney World blue kind of skies that we get. It's maybe it's approaching twilight, because it's like blue gray going toward the lavender. And there is a cheetah that's literally flying through the air without wings. And I can see the cheetah, and it's in full motion, and it's moving so fast. It's a mystical cheetah because it's way above the sand. So it's not sand that I'm seeing fly off of this cheetah's back at all. It's got to do with he's going so fast forward that some of his spots are literally flying off mystically, energetically, aurically. I don't see the spots off the body, but it's like his spirit self is from his shoulders back, from his back paws, like he's ready. This is like a rapid fire. I've made a commitment. I'm moving forward. I am being propelled. I accept the challenge. And ironically, there's that checkered flag that they use for like Daytona 500s and races. There's a checkered flag that he's now getting ready to, he's on the very sharp little points of what they call the pentacle points or the pointy points of that flag, the flapper points, and he's approaching the flag. So the card actually says, go the distance. But the symbology, and there's actually stars that have come from the heavens and landed in the sand, like the way you'll sometimes see starfish or shells at the beach. The only creature is this flying cheetah. And, cheetahs run really fast. We know that. But there's stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars that are laying in the sand. The checkered flag, meaning you've arrived, you've won. The number on the card is 47. So is that April and July? Is that the 11? When you add the 4 and 7 together, it's the 11. Master teacher. Can we be our own master teachers? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's in us. We just tend to question or doubt ourselves. Could it also mean that there is a master teacher coming in around you through a book, through a YouTube, through a Telegram type of thing, through something that just absolutely you didn't know a month ago would fascinate you and have such a nice gripping energy for you? It's like I keep hearing benefactor, beneficial, raising of vibration. So I feel like that you're in this, I see the rays coming out from you, like the aura is radiating outward, because we've been talking about a lot of inner bursts and a lot of inner vibrations and deep listening. But with you, it feels like you're exuding this, that you're, that your life is a celebration. You already are grateful. You already do want to do random acts of kindness and pay it forward and bless another. I think that you're very much a giver. So I believe that how you love giving the most in your own specific style of being able to bless or enhance another or another thing, if it's not another animal or person, is going to be some kind of a signature in this next new year. It's really cool. Good for you, and bless you.
Yeah, I also get for you that there is a part you're moving really quickly to this finish line, or making it somewhere, But as in doing so, it's also that, there's parts of you that you're really like are no longer part of you. Like this letting go of yourself. You've been morphing and changing and to fully embody that. And to know that there is a part of you that had to become a different person in order to get here. So allow that to come forward and be so. So
Right.
yeah. So thank you. Hopefully that resonated with you. So thank you, Mary, for everything, for the information, for the readings, both the astrological and the cards. That was beautiful. Any
Thank you.
Christmas holiday message that you'd like to leave the audience with?
I really like the energy of what we'll all, no matter what we think our plans are, I really feel a sweet, soft touch on Christmas Eve. I believe that Spirit it's got a present wrapped for us. I can see the bow in the box. And it's like Spirit is going to gift us with some type of, you wondered if you deserved it. You wondered if it could be so. And it might be a statement in a dream. It's going to be very unusual. Like you'll know how it happens either in your external world, in your dreams, or something that someone says to you or that you bump into in all of your busyness on Christmas Eve. They keep telling me that be aware of the fact that there is a present, a gift given on Christmas Eve. I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's something about that whole energy of the new birth and the ability to understand that it can be easygoing. It can be that there's some type of a sweetness in the compromise, even if we're compromising with ourselves, to not always get on that same edge. And with this Gemini stuff, I'll conclude by saying that the shifting of Sagittarius into our blessed Yuletide solstice point over the 21st and 22nd, I feel like that Mother Earth is going to let us all see something about how when she's calm and when she's quiet and when it's a silent night, maybe we've been a little unaware of how powerful of a gift it is, that the weather is sweet and there's not extremes of temperature or storm or tempest of wind-driven water or lightning or drought or fires. Like I keep hearing that Mother Nature between solstice and Christmas Eve wants us to just bear witness to this earth life and to remember, I'm going to, for me, I'm disciplining myself to do it from solstice, especially into the end of the year, to pray for peace and to send harmony and protections and light to any of those that are innocent and in harm's way, potentially in harm's way, and that it's really vital and important with Pluto and Aquarius that we unify as a tribe of light in this ultra-terrestrial multiverse to allow peace to be, that it's not we're just praying for peace. We are the ambassadors of peace, and we will manifest it.
Amen. Thank you very much for that. And I will say that
You're welcome.
pay attention to your intuition this coming weekend with this full moon in Gemini and a few days after, because I do feel like this is a bit of a doorway. It's a sneak peek preview of what's going to be blasting open for so many of us with Pluto in Aquarius and the upcoming year, the nodes moving into Pisces, Virgo. I really think that many of your intuitions are going to rip wide open. Your dreams are likely already giving you some inkling as to that. Be prepared. The awakenings that many of you think you've gone through are likely going to shock you of what's coming down the pathway ahead of us, and all of us are included in that. Meaning in a beautiful way, of what's going to be revealed to you, the veil that is between us and other dimensions is already so thin. It is so thin, but it's going to be ultra thin next year. And so whatever little inklings, intuitive things that are coming through around this Gemini full moon, pay attention. Pay attention. It's gonna give you some signs of what's to come next year. So thank you, everyone. Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And if you would like your own astrology reading with Mary, you can do that by booking with her over at her website, marydusina.com. As always, I will leave both her website and her social media in the show notes for you. And don't forget that the 3-day 180 retreat is actually 5 months away on this full moon in Gemini. It'll be exactly 5 months away. So if you're interested in booking your ticket, securing your spot to come get the transformation of your life, to have a huge heart opening and work with both Consuelo and myself and be surrounded by high vibrational people, then I'd love to see you there. I'm leaving the link in the description below. And if you can't find the link, it is on the homepage of my website, NicoleFrolick.com. Guys, I love you so much. Mary and I are wishing you a happy holiday and all the best. Stay peaceful and stay in the light. And may all your wishes